The sky was red. It had been red for 3 days now. The fires from the burning city painted everything in shades of orange and crimson. Walked through the ruins with his rifle held close to his chest. His boots crunched on broken glass and fallen stone. The air smelled like smoke and something worse. Something he did not want to think about. He was alone. His squad had moved ahead to secure the eastern sector. They told him to check the destroyed outpost for any remaining supplies. Food, water, medicine, anything useful. The war against the had taken everything from both sides. Resources were running low. Every small find mattered. The outpost had been a command center once. Now it was nothing but broken walls and twisted metal, stepped carefully through the entrance. Part of the ceiling had collapsed. Dust floated in the beams of light that came through the holes above. He could hear the distant sound of explosions. The fighting was still happening somewhere to the north. Moved deeper into the building. He found some supply crates. Most were empty. One had a few bottles of clean water inside. He put them in his bag. His hands were dirty with ash and dried blood, not his blood. He tried not to remember whose it was. The war had been going on for 20 years, was only 25. He had grown up knowing nothing but conflict. His father had fought. His older brother had fought. Both were gone now. Taken by the war like so many others. Kept fighting because he did not know what else to do. They were the enemy. That was what everyone said. That was what he believed. He checked another room. This one was completely destroyed. The walls had fallen inward. He was about to leave when he heard something. A small sound, like a breath or a whimper. Froze, he raised his rifle and pointed it toward the sound. His heart beat faster. Could be a trap. They were known for their tricks. They could hide in places humans could not reach. They were taller than humans. Their skin was pale blue. Their eyes were silver. They looked almost beautiful in a strange way. But they were deadly, very deadly. The sound came again. It was coming from under a pile of broken concrete and metal, moved closer. He kept his rifle ready. He used his free hand to pull away some of the smaller pieces of rubble. The sound grew louder. It was definitely something alive. Then he saw her. A small child. She could not be more than 6 or 7 years old in human terms. Her pale blue skin was covered in dust and cuts. Her silver eyes looked up at him with pure terror. She was trapped under a heavy piece of metal. Her leg was pinned. She could not move. Stared at her. His finger rested on the trigger of his rifle. His training told him what to do. Eliminate all enemies. No survivors. Those were the orders. They did the same to humans. This was war. There was no room for mercy. But she was just a child. Her eyes reminded him of someone. His little sister. She had the same look in her eyes when she was scared. That wide, helpless look. Was safe at home, far from the front lines. But this child was here, in the middle of a battlefield, alone, hurt, afraid. The child made a small sound. She was trying to speak. Her voice was weak and broken. Did not understand her language, but he understood fear. He understood pain. Those things were the same in every language. He lowered his rifle. "I am not going to hurt you," he said. His voice was rough from the smoke. He did not know if she could understand him, probably not, but he said it anyway. Put down his rifle and knelt beside her. He examined the metal piece that trapped her leg. It was heavy, but he could move it. He took a deep breath and grabbed the edge of the metal. His muscles burned as he lifted it. The child cried out in pain as he pulled her free. Her leg was badly hurt. The bone might be broken. Blood was coming from several cuts on her body. She needed medical attention, but there was no medical help here. There was only. He reached into his bag and pulled out his basic medical kit. He had bandages, some pain medicine, not much, but it was something. He cleaned her wounds as gently as he could. She winced and whimpered, but she did not fight him. Maybe she was too weak. Maybe she understood he was trying to help. As wrapped the bandages around her leg, he thought about what he was doing. If his squad found out, they would not understand. They might report him. Helping the enemy was a serious crime. He could be sent to prison, or worse. But he could not leave her here to die. She was just a child. What kind of monster would he become if he killed a child? The war had already taken so much from him. He would not let it take his humanity too. When he finished bandaging her wounds, the child looked at him. Her silver eyes were still filled with tears, but the terror had faded a little. She said something in her language. Her voice was soft like a whisper. Did not understand the words, but he thought he understood the meaning. Thank you, or maybe why was a human helping her? He did not have a good answer. He just knew it was the right thing to do. Took off his coat. The nights were cold on this planet. The child was shivering. He wrapped the coat around her small body. She was so light, so fragile, just like any human child. I will get you somewhere safe, he told her. He did not know where that would be. He did not know how he would do it, but he would try. He picked her up carefully and held her in his arms. She was warm against his chest. Her breathing was shallow but steady. She was alive. For now, that was enough. Walked out of the destroyed outpost. The sky was still red. The fires were still burning. The war was still happening all around him. But in that moment, holding this small alien child in his arms, felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. He did not know what would happen next. He did not know if he was making the right choice. But he knew one thing for certain. He would protect this child, no matter what it cost him. The battlefield stretched out before him. Danger waited in every shadow, but took his first step forward, and then another, and another. The journey had begun. Moved through the shadows of the ruined city, he held the child close to his chest. She had fallen asleep from exhaustion and pain. Her small body rose and fell with each breath. She was still alive. That was good. The sound of voices made him stop. He recognized those voices, his squad. Where are you? It was Sergeant. He was a big man with a loud voice. He had been squad leader for 2 years, a good soldier, a hard man. He did not believe in mercy for the enemy. Pressed himself against a broken wall. He looked down at the child in his arms. She was still sleeping. Her face looked peaceful despite everything. He could not let see her, not like this. Answer me. He had to make a choice. He could hide the child somewhere and pretend he never found her. He could go back to his squad and act like nothing happened. It would be the safe thing to do, the smart thing. But what would happen to her? She was hurt. She could not walk. If he left her alone, she would die. The cold would kill her, or the fire, or the other soldiers who would not hesitate like he did. Made his choice. He stepped out from behind the wall. Saw him first, then the others. There were 4 of them in total, and they had been fighting together for months. They were more than just squad members, they were family. Their faces changed when they saw what was carrying. What the hell is that? Asked. His voice was low and dangerous. A child said, I found her in the outpost. She was trapped. That is not a child, said. He was younger than only 19, but his eyes were old from too much killing. That is the enemy. She is a child, repeated. Look at her, she cannot hurt anyone. Walked closer. He looked at the small blue figure wrapped in his coat. His expression did not change. It remained hard, cold. Orders are clear, said. No survivors, you know this. I know. Then put her down and finish it. Did not move. The child stirred in his arms. She opened her silver eyes. She saw the other soldiers. Fear returned to her face. She pressed herself closer to. Her small hands gripped his shirt. She is scared, said. She is hurt. She is alone. How is killing her going to help us win this war? It is not about winning, said. He was the oldest in the squad, a veteran of 15 years. It is about survival. If we show weakness, they will destroy us. The do not show mercy. Why should we? Because we are human, said. That is supposed to mean something. Silence fell over the group. The distant sound of explosions continued. The red sky flickered with new fires, but here, in this small space, everything was still. Stepped forward. She was the only woman in the squad, tough as any man, maybe tougher, but there was something different in her eyes now, something soft. She really is just a kid, said quietly. Look at her. It does not matter, said. Orders are orders. To hell with orders, said. His voice was stronger now. I am not killing a child. If you want to do it, you will have to go through me first. The squad stared at him. No one had ever talked back to like that, had always been the quiet one, the one who followed rules, the one who did not cause trouble, but now he was standing against his own team for an enemy child. His hand moved to his pistol. His heart beat faster. Would he really shoot? Would it come to that? Think about what you are doing, said. You are throwing away everything for this creature, your career, your freedom. Maybe your life. Is it worth it? Looked down at the child. She was looking back at him. Her silver eyes were full of tears, but there was something else there too. Trust. She trusted him. This small alien girl who should fear him trusted him to keep her safe. Yes, said, it is worth it. More silence. His hand stayed on his pistol. The tension was thick enough to cut. Prepared himself for what might come. He would not fight his own people, but he would not give up the child either. It was who moved first, but not in the way expected. The young soldier lowered his rifle. He stepped back. I am not doing this, said. I have killed many soldiers, warriors, people who could fight back, but I am not killing a kid. That is not who I am. Sighed heavily. He looked old and tired. The war had worn him down. The boy is right. There has to be a line somewhere. If we cross it, we become worse than them. Looked at his squad. They were not going to follow this order. He could see it in their faces. Even had moved to stand beside. His authority was crumbling. Fine, said finally. He took his hand off his pistol. But this is your responsibility, not ours. If command finds out, I will say I knew nothing about it. That is fair, said. Relief washed through him. Thank you. Do not thank me. I think you are making a mistake, but it is your mistake to make. Turned away. We move out in 10 minutes. Do whatever you need to do with that thing. The squad dispersed. They went back to checking supplies and preparing for the next move, stood alone with the child. She was still holding onto his shirt, still looking at him with those silver eyes. It is okay, he told her softly. You are safe now. I will not let anyone hurt you. She did not understand his words, but she seemed to understand his tone. Her grip on his shirt relaxed a little. She let out a small sigh. Knew the danger was not over, might change his mind. Command might find out. They might attack again. There were 1,000 ways this could go wrong, but he had made his choice. He would live with it. Came back with some food, hard bread and dried meat. Soldier rations, not much, but it was something. She handed some to. For the kid, she said, she must be hungry. Thank you. Shrugged, just do not make me regret this. She walked away, but there was a small smile on her face. Broke the bread into small pieces. He offered one to the child. She looked at it with curiosity. Then she took it carefully and put it in her mouth. She chewed slowly. Her face showed surprise. Maybe it tasted strange to her, but she ate it. She was hungry. Good girl, said, eat more, you need your strength. He did not know where they would go. He did not know how he would get her back to her own people. The lines were far away. The journey would be dangerous. Impossible, maybe. But he would try. He had to try. The child finished eating. She looked up at and said something in her language, a single word. He did not know what it meant, but the way she said it with such warmth and gratitude made his heart feel lighter. Maybe she was thanking him. Maybe she was asking his name. He did not know, but it did not matter. My name is, he said, pointing to himself. She tried to repeat it. Ho. Her voice was soft and unsure, but she got it close enough. He smiled. It was the first time he had smiled in a long time. That is right. She pointed to herself. He repeated, That is a nice name. She smiled too, just a small smile, but it was there. The 10 minutes passed quickly. The squad gathered their supplies. They prepared to move, lifted into his arms again. She did not protest. She wrapped her arms around his neck and held on. The journey ahead would be hard. The dangers would be many, but was not afraid. He had made his choice, and he would see it through to the end. 3 days. It had been 3 days since left his squad behind. 3 days of walking through burned forests and destroyed towns. 3 days of hiding from both human and patrols. 3 days of carrying through the most dangerous land in the galaxy. His body was exhausted. His muscles ached with every step. The wound on his arm from yesterday's close call still throbbed with pain, but he kept moving. He had to keep moving. Was getting stronger. Her leg was healing slowly but surely. The bandages needed changing every few hours, but there was no sign of infection. She could not walk yet, but she could sit up on her own. She could eat without help. Small improvements that gave hope. They had developed a strange way of communicating, would point at things and say the word, would repeat it badly most of the time. Then he would say the human word. She would try to repeat that too. It was slow. It was frustrating, but it worked. Said, pointing at the sky, "What is that word?" "Sky," he told her, "that is the sky." "Sky," she repeated carefully, "pretty sky." He smiled, "Yes, pretty sky." The sky was actually gray and filled with smoke, not pretty at all, but seemed to find beauty in everything. Maybe that was how children were. Maybe they could see things adults could not. They stopped to rest near a small stream. The water was clean enough to drink, filled his bottle and gave some to First. She drank eagerly. Water dripped down her chin and she laughed. It was such a normal sound, such a human sound. It made forget for just a moment that she was not human. "Thank you," said. She had learned those words quickly. She said them often. "You are welcome." She pointed at, then she touched her heart. Then she pointed at him again. She did not know the words for what she wanted to say, but understood. "You are welcome," he said again. His voice was softer this time. The sound of engines made them both freeze, grabbed and pulled her behind a large rock. He covered her mouth gently to keep her quiet. She understood. She had learned to be silent when danger was near. A human patrol vehicle passed by on the road above them. Soldiers sat in the back, their weapons ready. They were searching for something, or someone, pressed himself flat against the rock. His heart pounded in his chest. If they found him with, it would be over. They would not listen to explanations. They would not care about his reasons. They would see a traitor. That was all. The vehicle slowed down. One of the soldiers looked toward the stream, held his breath. Eyes were wide with fear, but she did not make a sound. Long seconds passed. Then the vehicle moved on. The engine sound faded into the distance. Let out his breath, relaxed in his arms. That was close, too close. "We need to keep moving," he said. "Can you hold on tight?" She nodded. She wrapped her thin arms around his neck. He lifted her onto his back this time. It was easier to move quickly this way, and he needed to move quickly now. They traveled until nightfall, found a small cave hidden behind some dead trees. It was not much, but it would protect them from the cold wind. He sat down gently and checked her wounds. The bandages were dirty. He changed them carefully. "Does it hurt?" he asked. She shook her head, but he could see the pain in her eyes. She was being brave, braver than any child should have to be. Shared the last of his food with her, half a piece of bread, a few bites of dried fruit. It was not enough for one person, let alone two, but it was all they had. Tomorrow he would need to find more, somehow. Ate her share slowly. She saved some of the fruit and tried to give it back to. "For you," she said, "you eat." "No, you need it more." She shook her head stubbornly. "Need strong, protect, eat." He looked at her in surprise. Her vocabulary was growing fast, but more than that, she was thinking about him. worrying about him. This small alien child who had every reason to hate humans was worried about his. Something tight in his chest loosened, something he had been carrying for a long time. "Okay," he said, "we share, half for you, half for me." She smiled and nodded. They split the fruit between them. It was not much, but eating together in that small cave, it felt like a feast. After eating, moved closer to. The cave was cold. Their breath made small clouds in the air. She pressed herself against his side, seeking warmth. He put his arm around her. "Tell me about your home," he said, "your family." She did not understand all the words, but she understood enough. She began to speak in a mixture of her language and the human words she had learned. Her mother was important, a leader, very strong, very brave, loved her mother very much, but her mother was always busy, always fighting. They did not spend much time together. Had no father. He died in the war a long time ago. She did not remember him, only pictures, only stories. She had been traveling with her mother's soldiers when the attack came. Everything happened so fast. Fire, explosions, screaming. She got separated. She ran and hid. Then the building fell on her. She was alone for hours, maybe longer. She thought she would die. She prayed to whatever gods they believed in, and then found her. "You came," she said simply. "You saved." Did not know what to say. He had just done what felt right. He had not thought about being a hero. He was just a tired soldier who could not kill a child. "I am glad I found you," he said finally. Looked up at him. Her silver eyes reflected the dim light. "Is good human, not like others?" "There are many good humans," he said. "The war makes us forget, but we are not all bad." She thought about this, then she nodded. "Not all bad, like not all bad." "That is right." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something in her own language, a long phrase that did not understand. She saw his confusion and tried to translate. "My people have word for someone who protects, someone who guards with their life, like family but chosen, not born." "Protector, guest." She shook her head. "More than that, sacred word, old word." She touched her heart, then touched his chest over his heart. "Is this word for?" He did not fully understand, but he felt the weight of what she was saying. She was not just thanking him, she was claiming him, making him part of something bigger than himself. "Then I will be this word," he said, "whatever it means." She smiled, the biggest smile he had seen from her. She hugged him tightly. He hugged her back. Outside the cave, the wind howled. The war continued somewhere in the distance. Tomorrow would bring new dangers, new challenges. They were still so far from safety. But in that moment, none of that mattered. Fell asleep in his arms. Her breathing was slow and peaceful. He watched her sleep and made a silent promise. He would get her home, no matter how long it took, no matter what he had to do. He would see her safely return to her mother. This small alien girl had become his responsibility, his purpose, his reason to keep fighting. Not for humanity. Just for her. Closed his eyes. Sleep came slowly, but it came, and for the first time in years he did not dream of death and fire. He dreamed of peace. The border was close now, could see it in the distance. Tall structures rose against the gray sky. Ships flew overhead, carrying soldiers and supplies. The enemy territory, the place where he would certainly die if he was discovered. But it was also the only place where it would be safe. They had traveled for 5 days total, through battlefields and ruins, through forests and mountains, had lost count of how many close calls they had survived. Human patrols, scouts, wild animals, hunger and cold, every day brought new challenges. But they had made it. Against all odds, they had made it. Was stronger now. Her leg had healed enough that she could walk short distances. She still needed help, but she was no longer completely helpless. The fear had left her eyes. In its place was something else. Trust, confidence, hope. "That is my home," she asked, looking at the structures. Yes, your people are there. Your mother might be there too. Her eyes lit up at the mention of her mother. Mother, I want to see Mother. I know, we will get you to her, I promise. But how? That was the question had been asking himself for days. He could not just walk up to the border. They would shoot him on sight. No questions asked. He was the enemy. His uniform said it all. He had removed the uniform days ago. Now he wore simple clothes he had found in an abandoned house. But his face was still human. His body was still human. There was no hiding what he was. He said carefully, I need you to do something for me. She looked at him with trusting eyes. What? I need you to go the rest of the way alone. Her face changed immediately. Fear returned. No, stay with, we go together. We cannot. If I go there, they will kill me. You understand? She shook her head stubbornly. Tell them is good. Saved, they will not hurt. It does not work that way. They will see a human. That is all they will see. Tears formed in her silver eyes. Not fair. No, it is not fair. She threw her arms around him. She held on tight like she would never let go. Her small body shook with sobs, held her close. His own eyes were wet, but he blinked the tears away. Listen to me, he said softly. You are brave, the bravest child I have ever known. You can do this. Just walk toward the border, call out for help. They will come. They will take you to your mother. What about? I will go back, find my people, try to survive. We'll see again. He wanted to say yes. He wanted to promise her that they would meet again, but he could not lie to her, not after everything they had been through. I do not know, he said honestly, but I will never forget you, and you must never forget me. Deal. She wiped her tears with her small hand. Deal. He helped her stand. He pointed toward the border. Go straight. Do not stop. Do not look back. Just keep walking until someone finds you. She took one step, then another. Then she stopped and turned around. Yes. Thank you for everything. He smiled. You are welcome for everything. She smiled back. Then she turned and began walking toward the border. Her steps were slow but steady. She did not look back, just like he told her. Watched her go. His heart felt heavy in his chest. He had known this moment would come. He had prepared for it, but nothing could have prepared him for how much it would hurt. She was almost at the border when something happened. A patrol spotted her. 3 tall figures in dark armor approached quickly. His hand went to his weapon instinctively, but he forced himself to stay hidden. If he revealed himself now, it would only make things worse. The soldiers surrounded. They spoke rapidly in their language, answered them. She pointed back toward where was hiding. The soldiers looked in that direction, pressed himself flat against the ground. One of the soldiers spoke into a communication device. Minutes passed, barely breathed. Then more arrived, many more. Ships landed nearby. Important-looking figures emerged. And then he saw her. A tall woman, taller than the others. Her armor was different, more decorated, more beautiful. She moved with the authority of someone who commanded armies. Her silver eyes were the same as the mother, High Commander Thera. Thera ran toward. For a moment she was not a commander, not a warrior, not the leader of enemy forces. She was just a mother who had found her lost child. She dropped to her knees and pulled into her arms. She held her tight, so tight, like she was afraid to let go, like she was afraid this was not real. Spoke rapidly, she gestured wildly. She pointed towards hiding spot again. She was telling her mother everything, about the human who saved her, who protected her, who carried her for days through danger and fire. Thera listened. Her face was hard to read from this distance, but her body language changed. She became still, focused. She looked toward where was pointing. Then she stood up. She said something to her soldiers. They formed a line. Their weapons were ready, knew what was coming. They would search the area. They would find him. He had to run. Now. But before he could move, Thera's voice rang out. loud and clear, in perfect human language. "Human soldier, I know you are there, come out. I give you my word, no harm will come to you." Hesitated, this could be a trick, a trap. They were known for their deception, but Thera's voice held something unexpected, sincerity, emotion. "Please," she added, "I wish to see the one who saved my daughter." Slowly, carefully, stood up. He raised his hands to show he was not a threat. He walked out from his hiding spot. Every step felt like walking toward his own execution. The soldiers aimed their weapons at him. He could feel their hatred, their desire to kill. He was the enemy, an easy target. But Thera raised her hand. The soldiers held their fire. Stopped a few meters from the High Commander. She was even more impressive up close. Power radiated from her like heat from a fire. She could kill him with a single order, a single word. Instead, she looked at him, really looked at him. Her silver eyes studied his face, his wounds, his exhaustion. She saw the truth of what he had done, the cost he had paid. Broke free from a soldier's grasp and ran too. She grabbed his hand and pulled him forward. "Mother, this is, he saved. He is good human." Thera knelt down so she was at eye level with her daughter. "I know, little one, you told me," she looked at, "and I believe you." She stood up and faced directly. The High Commander of the forces, the most powerful enemy he had ever faced, and she was looking at him not with hatred, with gratitude. "You saved my daughter," she said. "You risked everything, your life, your honor, your people. Why?" Thought about the question. He had asked himself the same thing many times. The answer was simple, but it was also complicated. "Because it was the right thing to do," he said finally. "She was just a child. She was hurt and afraid. I could not leave her to die." Thera was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer. "Among my people there is no greater honor than protecting the innocent, no greater duty than shielding a child from harm. You have shown this honor, this duty, though we are enemies, though you had every reason to hate us." She reached out and placed her hand on his shoulder. The gesture was foreign but gentle. "You are not my enemy today, human. Today you are something else, something more." Smiled up at both of them. "See, told you is good." Thera smiled too, a real smile that transformed her stern face. "Yes, little one, he is very good indeed." The camp was unlike anything had ever seen. Tall buildings made of a material that seemed to glow from within. Ships that floated silently through the air. Technology so advanced it looked like magic. He had spent years fighting these people, but he had never truly understood how different their world was. Now he stood in the center of it all, surrounded by enemies, yet somehow still alive. Thera had brought him to her personal quarters. It was a large room with windows that showed the stars beyond the planet's atmosphere. Beautiful, peaceful, hard to believe a war was happening just outside. Sat on a soft chair, her injured leg wrapped in new bandages. Medical technology had already begun healing her wounds. In a few days, she would be completely recovered. Was glad. She had suffered enough. Thera stood by the window. She had removed her armor. Underneath, she wore simple clothes. She looked less like a commander now, more like a mother, a person just like him. "You should eat," she said without turning around. "My people brought food. It is safe for humans." A table nearby held strange dishes. Fruits of colors had never seen. Meat that smelled surprisingly good. His stomach growled. He had not eaten properly in days. "Thank you," he said. He sat down and began to eat. The food was good, different from human food, but good. Thera finally turned from the window. She walked over and sat across from him. Her silver eyes watched him eat. "You have questions," she said. "I can see them in your face." He nodded. "Many questions." "Ask." He put down the food. "Why am I still alive? Your soldiers wanted to kill me. I saw it in their eyes." "You are alive because I ordered them to stand down, because my daughter told me what you did for her, because I saw the truth in your actions." Is that enough? I am still the enemy. My people and your people have been fighting for 20 years. Thera leaned back in her chair. Her expression was thoughtful. Yes, 20 years of death, 20 years of hatred. I have killed many humans. You have probably killed many. That is what soldiers do. She paused. But today I saw something different. A human who chose mercy over violence. A soldier who chose to protect rather than destroy. Do you know how rare that is? On either side. Did not know how to respond. He had never thought of himself as special. He was just a man who could not kill a child. That should not be rare. That should be normal. There is a word in my language, Thera continued. My daughter told you about it, the word for one who protects, one who shields. She used this word for you. She tried to explain it. I did not fully understand. It is an old word, from before our people became warriors, from a time when we believed in honor above all else. To be called this word is the highest respect one can give to another. She leaned forward, her eyes locked with his. My daughter gave this word to a human, to you. In the history of our people, this has never happened before. Do you understand what this means? Shook his head slowly. It means you are no longer just a human to us. You are something more. You are bonded to my family, to my daughter. By law and by tradition, I cannot allow you to be harmed, and neither can anyone else who follows our old ways. The weight of her words settled over him. He was bonded to a family, protected by their laws. He, a human soldier who had killed their people. The universe had a strange sense of humor. What happens now? He asked. Thera stood up. She walked to the window again, the stars reflected in her silver eyes. Now you have a choice. I can send you back to your people, give you safe passage through our territory. You can return to the war, fight against us again. I would not stop you. You have earned that freedom. She turned to face him. Or you can stay, be a guest among my people, see our world with your own eyes, perhaps. Help us find a different path, a path that does not lead to more death. You want me to help end the war? I want the war to end. I have wanted that for a long time, but I am only one voice among many. My people do not trust humans. They have good reasons not to, but you are different. You showed that humans can be more than enemies, more than killers. If my people could see what you did, what you are capable of. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. Spoke up from her chair. Should stay, wants to stay. Looked at the small girl. She was smiling at him. That same bright smile that had warmed his heart during their journey. He had promised to protect her. He had kept that promise. But maybe the promise was not over yet. If I stay, he said slowly, I would be betraying my people. They would call me a traitor. I could never go back. Yes, Thera admitted, that is true. And there is no guarantee that anything would change. The war could continue forever. My presence here might mean nothing. Also true. Was silent for a long moment. He thought about his life, his squad, the years of fighting and killing. What had it all been for? What had he accomplished? More death, more hatred, more pain. He thought about his family. His father and brother both killed by the... Should he not want revenge? Should he not want to keep fighting until every was dead? But looking at, he could not feel hatred. Looking at Thera, he could not see a monster. They were people. Different from humans, yes, but still people. Mothers and daughters. Soldiers and children, capable of love and fear and hope. Just like him. I will stay, he said. For now, I cannot promise anything will change, but I will try. Thera's expression softened. Was that relief in her eyes, gratitude? He could not tell. That is all anyone can do, try. She walked to him and extended her hand, a human gesture. She had learned it somewhere, maybe studied it for this moment. Took her hand and shook it. Thank you, she said, for saving my daughter, for staying, for everything. You are welcome. She did not let go of his hand right away. Instead, she looked at him with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "I will not forget this," she said. "Whatever happens, whatever the future brings, I will not forget what you did, and I will not forget you." She released his hand and stepped back. "My people have a ceremony. For those who prove themselves worthy of honor, I would like to perform this ceremony for you, if you are willing." Did not know what the ceremony involved, but he nodded anyway. "I am willing." Thera smiled, a real genuine smile that transformed her entire face. "Good, then tonight, you become the first human to receive the blessing of the first to be named a true protector." Jumped up from her chair and ran too. She hugged him tightly. He hugged her back. "See," she said happily, "new always new is special." He laughed softly. "I am just a man who made a choice." "No," Thera said, "you are more than that. You are proof that our peoples do not have to be enemies forever, proof that peace is possible." She looked out the window at the stars. "The war will not end tomorrow or the day after. There is too much hatred, too much pain, but perhaps with time things can change, and it will start with moments like this, small acts of kindness, simple choices to do what is right." She turned back to end. "That is what you have given us, human, not just the return of my daughter, but hope, real hope, for the first time in 20 years. Held close, he looked at Thera, two species that had been killing each other for decades, standing together in a room full of starlight. It was not peace, not yet, maybe not ever. But it was a beginning. And sometimes, a beginning was all you needed. The stars shone bright outside the window. Somewhere in the distance, the war continued. Ships fought and soldiers died. Nothing had changed yet. But in this small room, with these two who had become something like family, felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. Real hope. And for now, that was enough.